Good evening everyone. Tonight we are going to a location that I have been looking at the entire time I have lived on Skye, for real. I've been wanting to do the walk I'm about to do now so long, so I even checked it out on Google Earth and I've seen there is even a little lock up on top of the hill. So tonight might be amazing. Might also be terrible. I've already been in one downpour, as you can probably tell from my hair, but it's looking like it's clearing up, so all you can do is hope for the best. Fingers crossed tonight works out. So you can probably guess by the noise coming from that direction what I have come here to check out. Now my main aim is not the waterfalls. As cool as they are, it's not my main aim for tonight. My main aim is to go past the waterfalls up on top and see if I can get a really nice vista of the mountains in the background. But on my way past the mountains, past the waterfalls, if something catches my eye, I will stop for an image. Let me show you some of these waterfalls because they are pretty epic. Here is the first of the big waterfalls. It is pretty huge. And then you can probably see off in the distance, there are a few more. So it's going to be interesting to see how they look. But time to carry on walking, I think. I cannot resist the swirl of some bubbles with a possibility of a long exposure. And look at the little gateway, the little framing of the rocks up into the double tier waterfall. I think I might have a little bash at this because that is looking sweet to me. But true to form, there's rain. But there is one positive about the rain, and that is it stops the midges, because I was getting destroyed before. Right, let's get this image. So I'm loving this composition. There's something about the way there's two rocks on either side and the water from the waterfall is channeling straight towards me. And then just in that bottom left hand corner I've got them lovely spiraling bubbles. I love photographing spiraling bubbles. There's just something about the after effect. Now the trick is not to expose for too long, not to have too long a shutter speed, because then it starts to get a little bit unpredictable and uncontrollable. So it's getting the right amount of time. Now because the foreground is so close, I'm gonna have to focus stack to make sure it's nice and sharp from the foreground all the way through to the waterfall. Now I'm sure if you've watched my vlogs before, you've seen me do this many times, so I'm just going to get on with it. But I will show you my process as I go through. So this is the back of my screen. I'm going to choose a point pretty close to the camera and I'm going to zoom in, and that is already looking pretty sharp. So there, I think that's good. So I'm going to look at my exposure. I'm on a 3 second, slightly underexposed. That's probably about right. And then I'm just going to fire that off. So this is my first attempt at 3 seconds. Now I like that, but I think it's a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my ISO. So I'm going to take my ISO all the way up to 80, which means I can lower my shutter speed down to 2 seconds, 1.5. Let's go 1.3. And then fire that off, see what happens. And there, look at that, that looks so much better. Such less mess. So now I've got my bubbles, I'm going to go up to my rocks and I'm going to zoom in on them, and then let's make sure they are pin sharp. I think there, we're good. So zoom out again and then just fire that off. Now for the waterfall, I don't want this to be soft and mushy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my shutter speed again. And I'm going to make it even faster. So for this, what I need to do is I need to raise my ISO one more time. I've taken it up to 125, so I get 1/3 of a second. Fire that off, and there we go. See how I've got that texture in the waterfall? So look at the one from before. Oh. So there's the latest one, and I think that one's so much nicer. Look at the detail in that waterfall. Look at that, that looks beautiful. So I am pretty happy with my first composition. When I get home, I'll put this into Lightroom and I'll choose the different elements that I really like about this composition, and then Photoshop, job's a good one. Beautiful image, have a look. Look at them. That is incredible. Wow. But again, this is not what I'm here to photograph. I keep getting distracted, but what a distraction to have. Look at that. I'm not sure if you can see what I can see, but that mountain looks absolutely incredible. Woo! And that is hopefully what I've come to photograph. I did plan on going to a little bit of a pool, but looking at that, it'd be a shame not to. Now the question is, do I go up and round, or do I do a head down and see what's down there? No, the mountains are calling me. It's time to go higher and hope that we find something truly phenomenal. Because right now that looks phenomenal. It looks like I'm above the clouds. Right, I'll check in a minute. Hiking is 100% worth the effort. Right now I feel like I'm on top of the world. For one, there's a family of deer behind me. Look at that view with the low-lying clouds, the peaks poking out. Whew! All I need to do now is find a foreground. That is my next and only challenge. Everything else is working beautifully, apart from the fact I'm getting mozzie spray in my eyes because it's leaking off my head. But wow, now if I can't find a beautiful bit of foreground in between all these little bogs and swamps without falling into them, I might as well hang up my camera, because they are beautiful on their own. Such amazing shapes. Just the challenge is not falling into one. So you know how I was just saying that I really wanted to find a section of water that leads straight into the mountain, but I didn't think I'd find one. Look at that. Wow. I couldn't have made a better option myself if I had 100 years to dig it out with a shovel. Look at that. And it's big enough to get the reflection of the mountain. Oh, somebody is smiling on me today. Absolutely. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, I found my composition that complements. So I've been here for about an hour now, and honestly, the only thing that's letting me down is the midges. They have managed to catch me up. I don't know how they found me, but they have found me. So I have covered myself in smidge, not an advertisement, but it seems to be working. Dieter's works a little bit better though. Anyway, sidetracked. I've done a couple of things. I've taken a couple of long exposures, and the way I've been framing this shot with my long exposures, I'll talk you through now. So for the long exposures, what I've been doing is I've been using this side of the little water. In the Lake District we call it a tarn. I don't think it's called a loch here. If you do know what they're called in Scotland, let me know. Shout it out in the comments. So yeah, I've been using this to guide your eye in, but when I set up this composition, this side of the mountain was covered in clouds, so it was very central. Now, since then, the clouds have dissipated quite some bit, and I've been looking and looking and looking, and now I'm starting to think that all the way back here might actually be a little bit better, because then I get the three peaks of the mountains in the reflection in the water, and it just looks like a stronger composition. So I'm going to move my camera position and see how this one works out. So I think I'm finally set on where I'm going to get my camera, or where at least I'm going to put my camera. And now all I can hope for is that beautiful light that I had earlier comes back. These some big fat clouds blocking the sun right now. But if I get that beautiful light and then some colour in the sky, woo-wee, that'll be one hell of an image. I'll take you to the back of my camera so you can see how it looks. So this is how I'm looking right now. I have got my camera nice and central. Put the focal point right in the middle. I've got some beautiful clouds, some nice sky. I'll darken it down a little bit so you can see how it'll actually look. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I've got just, oh, it's just absolutely beautiful. I'm going to fire this off, take this as a little bit of a backup, just in case it all goes horribly wrong. And now I'm just going to sit and I'm going to wait and see what happens. There is some light starting to catch the mountains behind, which is no good for me because they're behind, but it does mean there is a possibility that light is going to come back. Now, if I get that light and I get that image and I get the image, I'm going to be a happy man, and I'm probably going to head home because I am getting destroyed by these midges. They're just everywhere, flying around. Now, winter. Over winter, if I'm still here on the island, this is a composition I want. Snow-capped mountains with hopefully a frozen lake. That would be beautiful. That would be absolutely amazing. Tremendous. But I don't know whether I'm still going to be here then. I'm very sad to say that light is not coming back. the big bank of clouds that's been clinging onto the mountains all day has decided to sit on the horizon line, and the sun has dropped far too low. Sorry, all the midges, far too low to be able to get it, which is irritating. So irritating, about as irritating as all of these midges right now. But I have to say something on a slightly deeper note. Sometimes just being able to find locations like this, just to discover something that you haven't seen photographed before, is amazing. Whether you get the fantastic light and the incredible views and everything like that, just being able to be here, eaten by all these midges, is just enough. Because like, that is absolutely incredible. Like, amazing. Wow, there are millions of you. Whew. And this smidge does not seem to be working anymore. But I'm going to get this final image and I'll talk you through what I've got, my settings and everything like that, and then I am packing up and heading home. Full show. Right, here we are. So simply, what I've got is nice and centralized. F11, which is a 1/3 of a second, ISO 100, and I'm just going to fire it off at that. And there we go, I've got the clouds, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to up my exposure so that I've got the mountain with a little bit more detail. And then when I blend them two together, it should look pretty sweet. I'm going to take one more exposure so I can darken up them clouds just that little bit more. And there we are. And basically what I've just done is bracketed my image. Now I'm not sure if you can see all of this in the GoPro, but look at how many midges are flying around me right now, and I think that is time for me to go. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a lot of colour in the sky, and I'm not going to get the light on the mountains. This is again another location on the Isle of Skye that I need to come back to at a later date. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with the images I've taken throughout today at the end, so you can review them and have a little look over them and see what you think. Leave it in the comments below if this location is worth revisiting, worth tackling these midges once more, but hopefully with better light. Fingers crossed. Let me know whether it's worth it. I think it is. Anyway, this is going to be the end of the vlog. I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you have, hit that thumbs up. If you want to see more content, don't forget to subscribe. All the subscriptions and all the love only keeps me going. It really does. I'll still be out here anyway, but making these videos and stuff, if no one's watching them, it's hard to keep doing it. But anyway, I'm going to finish up here, and yeah, enjoy your weekend, whatever you get up to. Peace.